Have you ever wanted to live in the future? But like a cool future, not the one we're probably going to get? Me too. So I played Severed Steel, a badass cyberpunk shooter that kinda feels like if Samus got plugged into the Matrix. I really don't know what made me interested in this. I found it randomly while digging through my backlog. I don't even remember buying this. But it looked kinda cool, it's well reviewed, so I figured why the heck not? Evidently, we are a mystery lady who partied too hard one Friday night and woke up one arm short. Happens to the best of us. Gotta keep an eye on those things. There's big money out there for black market arms. So now she has to go out there and get revenge on the people who maimed her, or topple the big evil corporation, or liberate I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea what's going on in this plot. I just kinda rolled with it. So I've jumped right into the tutorial and tried to figure things out. And first of all, holy hell, momentum. You can dive through the air like you've got springs, and you can glide around on the ground like a buttered figure skater. That took a while to get used to. I was missing jumps, overshooting things left and right, and that was before I got to the first firefight, which well and properly messed me up because I had no grasp of the mechanics. I think what threw me off is that it's a little unintuitive at first. It doesn't quite make sense that sliding or jumping towards enemies is often the best move to make. You see, Matrix logic applies here in that you basically can't be shot while doing fancy moves. So do them. Do them all the time. Seriously, you cannot hold back. Don't get stage fright. You gotta cool guy your way through each situation. You might feel silly diving and power sliding everywhere, but you're gonna feel a whole lot sillier if you get Swiss cheesed because you insisted on walking like a normal person. Actually, on the topic of action movies, the game in general follows action movie logic. There's no reloading for you, you're way too cool for that. Just pick up guns anywhere you find them and use them as you go. You are a weapons expert, evidently, who can use any gun, even while leaping and sliding. It's even more impressive when you remember that evidently she's doing this all one-handed. One of the benefits of a first-person perspective is that you don't have to see how improbably silly you would look while doing this. You can also swan dive through every plate glass window you see and not even muss your hair. Go on, you know you want to. Actually, you should, because you have to keep moving. Severed Steel is unrelentingly frantic. There is no time to think, just go, 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 go. The game even yells at you at the beginning of each level in nice, bold, simple words telling you what to do, what your objective is. Which is nice, cause thinking is hard and I don't like to do it more than I have to. So just move, get on with it. As a wise old badass once said, hesitation is defeat, and you will die very, very quickly if you do so. But, you know, you kinda have to in a game where you can be invincible effectively 80% of the time. The space between action hero and swift death is razor thin. But once you master all your weapons and all your moves, you'll really get the handle of things. Speaking of which, I haven't even mentioned the most awesome one of all, your arm cannon. Oh yeah. I don't know why people in these settings are so upset to lose a limb when almost invariably they can get a replacement that's way better than having a regular old boring arm. Not only is this thing a cannon, but you can also use it to punch right through walls, which is awesome once you remember that it can do that, which I often forgot. I don't know, I'm not used to having that kind of power in a shooter, it's new to me. I know it's really not new overall. I mean, destructible terrain has been a thing since, what, Red Faction, whenever that was? But it really is the perfect addition. When I want to make a beeline straight for an objective, it's nice to not have to spend precious seconds to find the one staircase or corridor that leads there and just blow a friggin' hole in the wall and keep the pace going. So yeah, I was really cooking by the mid-game. Once you get good, you can do all kinds of cool moves. Shield guy, slide right into his shins, knock him up and smoke him in midair, or just dive past him and shoot him from behind. Flame guy, no problem. Dive past him and shoot his tank from behind, and I'm only just now realizing as I say this that really flanking enemies is often the best move overall, but I didn't notice or have that bother me while playing, so hey, when you're good, you can Max Payne your way in through a room, drop every enemy in slow time before you even touch the ground. And once you get a handle of everything else, you can really take advantage of the level design, which is suspiciously convenient. It really was nice of the architect to put some nice wall running surfaces everywhere, and to install lots of little slots that you can slide through and get at enemies. That was very obliging of them. On the topic of level design itself, it's nice. There's lots of variety, there's color. I like it when cyberpunk games go all neon and don't veer towards the Tron monotone. you'll love to see it. If there's any cons, I guess it feels weird to say, but being a badass does get a little stale after a while. I mean, there's only so many times you can do the same cool moves before it feels a little repetitive, but it's not as much of an issue because the game, thankfully, is pretty short. Not too short, but short enough that it doesn't overstay its welcome, which I always appreciate. The other thing that bothered me is maybe it would have been nice to have a little more story, a little more context to our action. Why are these people doing what they're doing? Why do they have the technology? Why do they have a private army? Just a little something to go on? Are we supposed to assume that corporations are automatically evil? We don't even know what they're doing. Maybe they're curing cancer. Maybe they needed to cut your arm off to work on curing cancer somehow. Never mind, that's stupid. Moving on. I know this might be the limitation of an indie development studio with a limited budget, but I feel like a cyberpunk setting is really crying out for some world building, so it was a shame that there wasn't more of that. On the whole though, as I got to the end game, I was mighty satisfying. There was a nice escalation of difficulty and fights and variety right up until the very end. I got to see the conclusion to the story, whatever it was supposed to be, and I was mighty satisfied when the credits rolled. I can see why this is overwhelmingly positive. Although, was this game popular? I never heard about it. Was it well selling? I feel like it maybe wasn't, and that's a shame. Maybe this didn't get its due. Well, at least I did my part. It's kind of interesting the way Cyberpunk has gone in recent years, isn't it? Because it started out as a warning of a near future that could be, and now it's kind of just power fantasy escapism. It started as a cautionary tale, but now I feel like the real future is scary enough that we really could just use some fantasy at this point. Well, even if the future sucks, there'll probably still be games to play, so hey, at least that's something to look forward to. Anyway, this video's done. Why not watch another one?